I think it will go down maybe on the clock because
Okay.
I actually really believe, Grant, that the 49ers probably want a certain player to be there at 10 to make that deal happen.
So
So
it's contingent.
I think it's a contingent deal. I
It
don't think
should
it's a
be.
lock, but I think
Right.
it's
Okay.
contingent on a player that they want being there. So I think it will happen on the clock during the first round. So what time will that be? Maybe 6 o'clock on Monday night, something like that, or on Thursday night.
Sounds right. Maybe
Um,
that's correcting from last year when they traded up 2 months before the draft, not knowing who the quarterback would be at number 3. Now you just wait until you see who's on the clock. If it's not Jameson Williams and you don't like Chris Olave or whatever, maybe the trade's off.
And as far as vindication, I don't, my whole thing is just, I look at this as an impasse. I mean, what is the definition of an impasse? A true, two separate, lines of thinking here. There is no compromise that can be made when you have this level of a divide between what the player is expecting to make in guaranteed dollars and what the club wants to pay in guaranteed dollars. That's the impasse, and I don't see Parag and the Niners or Deebo and his agent giving, and thus the trade, I think, is not only the only move, I think it's the logical move. It's probably the right move.
And again, you think this is going down on the clock Thursday night if it goes down. And again,
Yep.
if maybe Jameson Williams is the guy the Niners want at 10. Is that what you think? Who do you think is their target?
No, I don't think it's Jameson Williams. I think Jameson Williams is a great talent, but I think that's a really bad situation unless you're tanking the year. And we can talk about that later because maybe they are tanking the year. Maybe Jameson. If they go Jameson Williams, that really feeds into we're dialing it back financially because we're going to take the highest upside guy. We don't care if he can play this year because we're not about this year. So Jameson Williams will be very, very interesting.
I wouldn't call it tanking. I'd call it punting.
Right.
Yes.
Deferring, whatever softer way you want to use it. Yeah. But, I think it's Jermaine Johnson from Florida State. I think that the Niners' view of the overall world is that everything gets done by your front four, and that they lost to the Rams because the Rams front four dictated to them in the NFC title game. And I think what they learned from that is they need D Ford, but D Ford's not coming back. So they need to replicate what D Ford gave them in the year they got to the Super Bowl. And Jermaine Johnson from Florida State, I think is the highest rated defensive end. Greg Cosell loves him. Had an ACC Defensive Player of the Year. I think that's the player who could go 7, 8, 9 in front of them, which maybe would change their deal or call the deal off, or he could be there at 10. And if he's there at 10, I think that's their guy.
I think they're going with the guy with the torn ACL, Jameson Williams. Call me,
which feeds into the highest upside for the future.
Yes. I don't know. I think one of the issues right now with Deebo is that he's so good and he wasn't a first round pick. If he'd been a first round pick, the Niners would have a little more time to work something out, they would have him on, they'd have him for longer. But since he was a second round pick, it all came to a head after year 3. I think they might want to have his replacement be a first round pick, kind of like Ayuk. I'm just thinking.
I hear you, and I think it
maybe
makes
not at 10.
Yeah. What about a trade? I mean, I personally like Garrett Wilson more than Jameson Williams, but that's just more because I was thinking they're going to compete for a Super Bowl this year, and Jameson Williams may not play this year. But if the thinking is that they're punting on this year, dialing everything back, that this is going to be the rebuild year, especially, the other thing, Grant, that made me think that may be the case was when Lynch referenced, trading down from 61 and going with mass number of picks. That's kind of what you do when you're trying to reload for future seasons. And so maybe they're looking at this year as, hey, it's unlikely we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. Year 1 of Trey, let's load up our depth, see what we have, and try to win the Super Bowl, not this year, but 23, 24, 20, or I guess 24, 25, 26.